What's going on, everyone? Kyle Lowry. He was the big acquisition, the big prize for the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat even let guys like Kendrick Nunn go in order to acquire Kyle Lowry, signed him to a very lucrative deal and the hopes to get back to an NBA Finals. And they were almost there. They were a Jimmy Butler 3 away, in and out from being back in the finals, and then who knows what could have happened, right? Many people believe that Miami was a better matchup than the Boston Celtics against the Golden State Warriors. Although Kyle Lowry was hurt, there's a lot of concerns and a lot of questions with Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat. One thing that's kind of always been a question is, his one commitment, just his desire to stay in shape and stay healthy. Basically, weight concerns have always been a big thing. And Kyle Lowry has even addressed it on several occasions and said it used to bother him. It doesn't really bother him anymore. And the injury bug is a big thing. And many people believe that Miami signed him to a terrible deal, that there was a reason no teams were really just doing whatever they could, fighting and clawing to go get Kyle Lowry, his age, but he's a solid veteran point guard that can play some solid defense, put the ball in the hoop, can orchestrate your offense, isn't going to make too many mistakes. I mean, he is a real contributor, and he was great for Miami during the regular season and when healthy. Problem is, it's just injuries and stuff. He's also an NBA champion, so he has the experience. He's shown up in big games. He's hit big shots. He's done a lot in this league, but the questions just keep coming up, and Lowry doesn't really do much to prove and show otherwise that, no, I can be this guy. I mean, even Miami is one of the strictest organizations when it comes to like fitness and stuff like that. They have their own test that players have to pass in order to even just be on the court. Like, it's not like an NBA regulated thing. It's like one of their requirements if you want to be a player on this team. And a big question when Lowry went to the Heat was, wait, is that even like a Miami guy? Is that a guy that's going to be able to pass those tests? Is that a guy that Pat Riley is going to look at and be like, this is one of my players. These are my type of players. And one big person that has came out and really talked about Lowry a lot lately and even gave some, words of advice to him was Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway is a Heat legend. Many people know of him. His son is in the NBA right now. And he has been very vocal as of late talking about Lowry and just like, he's not overweight. Like, he's a lot skinnier than people think. It's just you're looking at him in the scope of like all these other players. And, he's got some size. And that size isn't a bad thing, which I don't think the size is a bad thing because that's why he's able to be so sturdy and, it's hard to move him and things like that because he's so low to the ground. He has that, he's got the little, size, he's got the little, little caboose to push people out the way. But nonetheless, however you feel about Kyle Lowry and whatever, if he's on a bad contract or a good contract or whatever the case may be, one person that has recently came to his defense and has really spoken highly of him and kind of, spoke just in general about Kyle Lowry as well as giving him some, old school veteran advice is Tim Hardaway. Now, Tim Hardaway is a Heat legend, right? He's an NBA legend. His son is playing in the NBA right now, and he's a guy that has came to Lowry's defense and even told Lowry that, like, look, you want to be more effective. You want to stop being so injury prone. You want to, be able to stay on the court. You got to stop hitting the ground. And that's something that has been talked about, not with just Lowry, but many players for years and years and years. Like the impact that it takes on your body, just, taking those charges, hitting the ground, being that type of player that's constantly on the ground. It really wears you down. It really affects your body. It makes it harder to, recover in those situations. I mean, that's a hard wood. Like, that's tough to hit the ground. And we've seen a lot of players that, it has that impact. It has that lasting and resounding effect on them. And Lowry is that guy that he's always been that guy, though. He's been the guy that will take the charge. He's not afraid of it. That Derek Fisher type guy who it doesn't matter how big, how strong, how fast you are, he'll take it. He'll take the hit. That gritty type player that's not afraid to get the bumps and bruises and fall to the hardwood. But again, he's getting up there in age. He's not 23 anymore where he can just bounce right back up and it's good. That's what Tim Hardaway was basically telling him. Like, dude, you got to stay off the ground. Stay on your feet, stay up, play solid defense, If it's a big moment and you want to take the charge, fine. But you don't need to be taking charges 10 times a game. More times than not, they're not going to call it. And the times that they do, they'd rather have you on the court than take that charge, and that's a big thing. He also came to Lowry's defense as far as his just, weight thing. I don't even think it's an issue. He hasn't had it. It hasn't been a problem for him since he came into the league. But nonetheless, he even spoke on that and just said, hey, he's not as big as people think he is. He's not as big as people make it seem he is. He's got some size to him, yes, but he's not this, he's not walking around like, it's not Shaq in the offseason, where he'd balloon to like 360 or whatever and then work his way back down. He's a guy that just has some size. He retains some size to him, but he's not that big how people try to make it look it is. Like that people try to make it seem like Lowry's just walking over it. He's just like, 300 pounds trying to play basketball. No, I mean, he's still in shape. He's been able to carry it around. Again, he's got that size, but Miami really needs him. And the one thing that I do absolutely agree with is him not taking those charges, not taking those hits and things like that anymore. Miami really needs him on the court. I really think Miami's taking a step back regardless. I really do. I'm sure many people feel otherwise, but I don't think that they have the scoring and that go-to score and that consistent score enough to it's success by committee with Miami, which isn't a bad thing, and they've had success with that. But I just look at all the other teams in this league, in the Eastern Conference right now, and there's at least 4, if not more, that I put in front of them. And it's just, but Kyle Lowry, if he can come in, he could be that solid contributor. He could be that secondary scorer, the third scoring option, whatever, run the defense, run the offense, be that key for this team. Then I do think that they are really good. But Jimmy Butler, he can't be putting up 40 points a game just to keep you in games, and that's the only chance you have to win. Jimmy Butler's only getting older too. And Miami, that's the big problem, is they have a lot of guys with age. They don't have a ton of desirable contracts and just players outside of Tyler Hero. And it's like, at what point do you just tear it down if you're Miami? At what point do you say, okay, like, let's keep Bam, let's keep Butler, let's try to unload these guys and start fresh? But even Lowry, unless you can get him to stay healthy and stay on the court and prove that he's this dude, it's going to be hard to trade him. I mean, how many teams are going to take on him with this contract without you having to give up assets? It's just, that's not what you want to do if you're Miami. So you're kind of stuck with Lowry. And I don't think that that's the worst thing in the world, but you need a sort of a reformed Lowry. And you need Kyle to be able to buy in and be there and be on the court and stay healthy night in and night out. You got to be able to count on him because he was so key to Miami last year. And there's a lot of people that believe, like, look, if he was 100%, Miami would be in the finals right now. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that would have been the case, because he was kind of playing on one leg out there. But still, it's just that's an issue with Kyle. Like, that's something he needs to work out, something he needs to figure out, something he needs to be better at. And showing that commitment to the team and his health and just all of that stuff. I'm not saying he's an unhealthy guy. Like, I don't think he's eating, burgers all day and just, living his best life. I mean, he's still a professional athlete, right? He still has a level of health and fitness and stuff like that none of us really have. He's on another level. But in comparison to people around him and other players in the league and stuff like that, this has been a conversation for a long time. Like, this isn't a new conversation. And he's a guy that has been able to play through it and has been able to show it. And he's even said himself, like, it used to really bother me for a long time. And eventually I got over it. And I just realized, like, I am who I am. And this is the player that I am, which is great. But, what's the goal? Is the goal to win a championship with Miami? Isn't that why you went there? That's why Miami went and got you. And if you can't do what Miami needs you to do, if you can't be that second, third guy, that leader on this team, set through example, then, like, it's a bad contract. And that's the big concern. Like, is Kyle Lowry the mistake that Miami made going and getting him? The only other team that really wanted to go get Kyle was the Lakers. And, and I mean, look at what ended up happening, It's one of those things where it's like, Miami believed in Lowry and believed that he was the guy that could come in and kind of change the landscape of Miami. And look, they were a shot away from being in the NBA Finals. So it definitely did help. But if you're going to take that next step, if you're going to be back in the finals and you're going to actually win a finals, Lowry's going to be huge. He's going to be a key piece. He's going to be a guy that you need healthy, you need on the court, you need night in and night out. Miami definitely had a bunch of injuries and stuff like that. It wasn't just Lowry, but still, he's your third, maybe even second most important player. And so you got to have that guy on it. That doesn't mean he's the best. I'm talking about importance, like what it brings to the team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and those are my thoughts and opinions, so I pass it to you. What do you think of Kyle Lowry? Do you think it was a mistake for Miami to take him on? Think he's on a bad contract? Do you think no? Look, injuries happen, part of the game. He's great. He's fine. He'll be back and ready to go this upcoming season. Really help Miami lead the charge once again. What do you think of the weight thing? Do you think like that's something of importance? Do you think it's been a big issue, or do you think no, he's been this way, he's been the same player for last 10 years plus, and it's teams know what they're getting in Kyle Lowry. It's just, and do you agree that he needs to stay off the floor, he needs to stop taking those charges and taking those hits? I get it, that's your game, you're that dude that's the pit bull, this, that, and the other, but the team needs you on the court. The team needs you night in and night out. The team would rather you, instead of taking the charge, give up the layup because they have you for the next, rest of the season, rather than you take a charge, you get hurt, and now you're out. You got to look at the pros with the cons. But anyway, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.